You've done it again. You told yourself you'd save this month, you had a plan, you even wrote it down somewhere, and then life happened. Or maybe nothing happened and the money just disappeared. Not stolen, not wasted on anything you can even name, just gone. And the worst part? You're not bad with money. You're not stupid. You just weren't taught the part nobody teaches. We talk about money like it's math, like if you just knew the right formula, the right strategy, the right app, it would all click. But here's what the spreadsheets never tell you. The richest investors in history didn't win because of math. They won because of behavior. And behavior comes from something much deeper than knowledge. Morgan Housel spent years studying the world's wealthiest people and came to one conclusion that changes everything. Financial success is not about how much you know, it's about how you act. And how you act with money was decided long before you ever earned any. Psychologists call it financial DNA. The generation you were born into, the dinner table conversations you overheard as a kid, whether your parents spoke about money with fear or with confidence, all of it got wired into you before you had any say. Someone born in 1970 watched the stock market multiply tenfold during their teens. They grew up believing investing works. Someone born in 1950 watched it go nowhere for a decade. Same market, completely different brain. Neither is crazy. Both are just shaped by what they actually lived through. Here's what Housel says about this, and it's one of the most freeing things you'll ever hear about money. People do some wild things with their finances, but no one is crazy. Every decision you've ever made with money made perfect sense given your history. That's not an excuse. That's a starting point. But here's where it gets genuinely strange. The biggest financial decisions aren't about what you know. They're about two things almost nobody talks about: time and luck. Warren Buffett is the greatest investor alive, but here's the number that breaks your brain. $81.5 billion of his $84.5 billion net worth was earned after he turned 65, not because he got smarter, because he started at 10 years old and never stopped. The secret wasn't genius, it was time. Compounding doesn't reward intelligence, it rewards patience, and most people never give it enough of either. Now consider the other side of that coin. In 1968, out of 300 million high school students worldwide, one kid ended up at the only school that had access to a cutting-edge computer. That kid was Bill Gates, 1 in a million luck. And his best friend, Ken Evans, just as brilliant, just as hungry, died in a mountaineering accident before graduation, also 1 in a million. Same odds, completely opposite outcomes. Luck and risk are siblings. You can't chase one without acknowledging the other. So what do you actually control? More than you think, but maybe not what you think. Most people spend their lives chasing rich, but rich and wealthy are not the same thing. Rich is visible. It's the car, the watch, the dinner. Wealthy is invisible. It's the money you chose not to spend, the boring account nobody sees. The thing is, we're surrounded by visible role models for being rich and almost zero role models for being wealthy, because true wealth, by definition, doesn't show. The person driving the Lamborghini might be 3 bad months from ruin. The person driving a 10-year-old Camry might own their life completely. You genuinely cannot tell from the outside. And here's the trap that takes down even the smartest, most successful people. Housel calls it the hedonic treadmill. You hit the goal, the raise, the house, the number you told yourself would be enough, and instead of feeling finished, you just move the line. Further, again. Bernie Madoff had hundreds of millions of dollars, legitimate, legal, extraordinary wealth, and it still wasn't enough. That's not a story about greed. That's a story about never deciding what enough actually means. So here's what all of this is really saying about you. The reason you've struggled with money isn't a character flaw. It's not laziness or weakness or some broken part of you. It's that you've been playing a game without knowing the actual rules, the real rules, not the math, the psychology. Your relationship with money was written before you were old enough to choose it. Your instincts around risk were shaped by things that happened to people you loved, in an economy you didn't design, in a world you were handed. But here's the quiet, radical truth hiding inside all of this. The moment you understand why you behave the way you do with money, you get to choose something different. Not perfectly, not overnight, but deliberately. You start asking not just what should I invest in, but what does I am actually afraid of? Not just how do I earn more, but what does enough look like for me, specifically in my actual life? Controlling your time turns out to be the highest thing money can buy. Not the car, not the house. The Tuesday afternoon where nobody owns your hours. That's what wealth actually feels like. And you can start building toward that today, not by knowing more, but by finally understanding yourself. If this hits something in you, subscribe. And if you want to go even deeper into why your brain sabotages you financially, the next video will make something click that's been stuck for a long time. Click it.